Good morning, everyone. Please don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I had this idea, and hopefully everyone's morning is going well, by the way. I know there's lots of news out there, lots of layoffs and lots of stuff happening, transition and in the world. And not to mention there is allergy season. Uh, I sound a little nasally, but at any rate, I wanted to, something popped in my head today, this morning, talking about, not talking, but thinking about how once you get money or you start to get a level of success, uh, it starts to fleet away and everyone wants a piece of it. And it got me thinking, as I was doing my workout this morning, it got me thinking, your money is really like a garden, right? Usually you start off, you're planting seeds. I don't know. One of the gardening is, oddly enough, one of my things I like to do when I'm trying to like take my mind off of everything and trying to just focus on the task at hand, and juggling all the different things that you juggle just as being an adult. Not to mention if you have a family and other things going on, business and so forth. But I just realized that, so me and my son, my son's like 4. We planted a garden and we grew some tomatoes, some zucchini, squash, some of the easy stuff for a starter garden. And kids love that stuff too, watch it grow. And it's funny, as soon as we actually started getting some produce off of it, all the bugs and things like that started coming and started going after it really quickly. And it seems like you couldn't get there quick enough before you'd have something in your tomato or something in your zucchini, squash. You have to get out there and you have to monitor it all the time, right? Because it's so active. And sometimes you see those like, they're not sheet cloths, I don't know exactly what they're called, but people put them over there to block sometimes sun and bugs, and you try not to use pesticides because it's not good for us to consume, so you find natural things. My point is, it's a very active thing. You're constantly pulling weeds up because you don't want the weeds to suck the nutrients from the produce and just destroy the garden, and you try to yank them up by the roots. And it's a very active thing. So but once it's produced, it's some of the best, in my opinion, the best food that you could just consume and eat. And I don't know if it tastes more rewarding just because you did it and you saw the fruits of your labor. But I will say, for me, it's one of those things that's rewarding. I'm feeding my family good food, good nutrition, and you could just see it and you feel good about it. Like, I took pride in this because I earned it and I grew it from nothing. Money is similar, if not the same, right? As soon as you hit the next level, seems like everything is coming after, right? Whether it be you may have a bill unexpectedly, medical expense, kids get sick, whatever, the car's not working. There's always something, right? And when you start to get to the next level, you realize, like, oh, money, once you have, let's just say you got an emergency fund, and then the car, something comes up, you're like, oh. Well, you're no longer stressing about actually getting the money. You're stressing about, like, it's just an inconvenience, right? And obviously most of us would rather take the inconvenience than to like struggle and think about money. But I don't know, even talking to people who have made it, um, the conversation still seems to be the same. They're trying to earn and make enough to stay ahead of everything, and I don't begrudge anyone for that. But there seems to be like a life cycle for investors, and I don't know. I'm not even there yet. I haven't, made it in my eyes, but just from working and talking to a bunch of different people who I want to be like my mentors, right? The challenge is, once you grow it, nurture it, make sure no one else is trying to get after it, and then once it's here and you have it, now you have to, you pluck it and you get to enjoy it, and then while more of it's still growing, and that nutrients will provide energy for the next task at hand. But then you get to the stage of the late investor to where you just are the the back nines of the investor, if you will, to where you have to learn how to shut it all down. And you don't have to, you could keep going, but that's usually what I see is when people get to that age where they maybe raise their family, kids are gone, or even this happens sometimes before the kids are gone. You just get to the point in life where it's like, okay, we're at this level. Do you want to keep going, or do you want to pull off the gas a little bit and take a step back and just take stock of what we have and what's going on? And then you have to learn to be okay with where you're at. And for an entrepreneur, that's like icky words, right? But you learn to be content where you're at, and maybe even start to downsize and start to live off less, right? Maybe you don't need as big garden of when you first started. You were just throwing seeds out, right? Money and gardening, and I'm sure this could be lots of things. It's just gardening was one thing that popped in my head this morning, so we'll go with it. But learning how to be content and learning how to say enough's enough. I got what I need. Now I need to go learn how to enjoy it and enjoy this thing, life, and the rest of your time you have, because we know no days are promised. And yeah, it's just an interesting thought. I don't know. I'm in the middle of my grinding and growth years, so young kids trying to throw elbows in this economy, trying to make it, and it's becoming harder and harder. And like I've said in the previous videos, it feels like they're shortening up the lifeboats with the wealth gap and all that stuff. But being in your 30s, fighting for economic security, late 30s now, going to be 40 soon, but what a challenge. And to anyone out there who's going through that, and you're planting your seeds in your garden and you're trying to water it and nurture it and make sure it gets what it needs, and while you don't have what you need, hats off to you. Keep going, and you're not in this alone. I think there's a lot of good communities out there you can get into, but definitely if you don't have a community or anything like that, I would encourage you to get plugged into one, whatever that looks like for you. I'm still building one here in the Atlanta area, and there's challenges, but then there's when you meet someone, you're like, okay, great. Then you start to grow that network, because remember, it's not about what you know, it's all about who you know. And with that said, hope you guys could appreciate that. It was just a thought that popped in my head, but I hope all is well. And again, let's just continue to hang on there, and we'll talk to you later. Take care. Bye.